This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. Today's game will be a little bit different, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it is me pitting two Benchwarmer teams against each other. First team we have will be David and Scott versus Eric and myself, Josh. And to explain what today's game is going to be like, I need to kick it over to past guest and assistant coach to our Patreon team, Adam Speas. Welcome back to the bench, Adam. Well, why don't you take a minute to explain what we're about to do?
Well, thank you for having me back, gentlemen, and Josh.
Great.
So I've been wanting to host an episode for you guys ever since David ran a game a while back on your Patreon exclusive feed. You know, it was an honor. You guys did a Throwback Trivia Takedown episode, in the themes of Benchwarmers. I was like, man, I want to do one. I want to do one, similar, but different. So my game that I have for you guys today, it's like Throwback Trivia Takedown, and Benchwarmers made sweet, sweet love. And the Freaky Mutant Love Child is the game we're playing tonight. Okay. So it's mostly throwback, but you've got some good hints of Benchwarmers in there. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes along. But in the mainstay, you're going to have 6 different decades: 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So it's all our throwback decades, which will be decided by our handy dandy fancy dice that we have I will roll and pick the decade. You, as your team, will pick what category you want to go into, just like regular throwback trivia. And our 10 categories for this game will be baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, professional wrestling, Olympics, and miscellaneous. So that's what you guys get to pick. And just like regular TTT style, if you and your teammate miss a question, the other team does get a chance to steal. I will tell you, I've never written an all sports episode. And if anybody has listened to my previous episodes, they know I was carried by Dan Lumberg first, carried by Eric Eade second, and carried by Scott Grimes third, the 3 times I have come onto the show. So I have no idea if my questions are going to be a joke and way too easy for y'all, or if I went too hard. So I really have no idea, but I'm excited to kind of put this out into the ether anyway. So I guess pending any questions, let's get our team names going. I want to know what David and Scott have as their team name.
David, I'll let you give that away since you came up with it, it's great. I think it covers multiple things for us, but I'm just want to say, Adam, I'm excited. Thank you for coming on and hosting this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know how you may do this, but if we do not go to the throwback lounge, I will be very, very disappointed tonight.
Yeah, well, there's only a few options thinking about it. Maybe a 1980s football question. We'll see.
I guess that leaves me to go next. Yeah, I'll just jump right into the team name. So when Scott and I team up on the regular Benchwarmer shows, we often make reference to the fact that we are born on August 5th, and the rest of the Benchwarmers are tired of hearing it. And Josh is sighing and eye rolling, just so for those that cannot see. So we often try to come up with something that is August 5th related, using a famous celebrity that was born on August 5th. And given that this is a throwback day or a throwback game, we wanted to come up with something that would span decades. And so in honor of Maureen McCormick, who played Marsha Brady in everyone's favorite 70s TV show, Brady Bunch, her birthday is August 5th, 1956. Our team name tonight will be Marsha Marshall Falk.
Love it. All right. And Mr. Eade and Mr. Baumbeck, what do you guys go with?
Go ahead.
I've been on Throwback Trivia Takedown a couple times. I actually got to play Josh once, which was a lot of fun. So we decided, since you're on, Adam, we're going to use a team name that's kind of something I almost always do now. It's kind of a regular thing for my team names is one of us is good at Throwback Trivia Takedown is going to be our team name today.
Yes.
Yep. Although I think I had the best walk-off one-liner when I was asked what I wanted to give Eric, and I said amnesia.
Yeah.
So
That was quite good.
it didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Very good line.
That was the best I had that day.
Well, as one of you is quite good at Throwback Trivia Takedown, and we do have the champion, I will say, in the house. That means I'm going to give our champion team the coin toss. And so the coin toss won't be for any points. It will be for the right to pick first. So if you lose it, the other team will get to pick first. So our team of one of us is good at TTT. You're going to have to answer this coin toss question. In the NHL, which Red Wing great has more career assists? Gordie Howe or Steve Yzerman?
As a Red Wing or just in general?
In general, it has more career assists, not career as Red Wing.
Okay. What do you got, Josh?
I'm guessing it's going to be close with it being just, I don't know. I might Yzerman. But if you think otherwise, I'm cool with I mean,
way to stick to your guns, Josh.
We're talking over 1,000 for Howe. So that would be Yzerman played 20 something years, 22-ish. So that would have to be, do the math for me. You're a math guy.
If he did be shy of 50 to get to 1,000, 50 would get him 50, averaging 50 a year would get him over 1,000.
Okay. It'll be close. So we'll go with Yzerman.
All right. Gordie Howe had 1,049 career assists. Steve Yzerman had 1,063 assists. So Steve Yzerman was the correct answer. And so that means one of us is good at TTT gets to pick their first category.
Should we just take wrestling away from Scott?
Oh,
if you want to, again.
You bastards.
Just for the hell of it, let's do it. As long as if it's because he's gonna roll a dice here. This is what you're doing. We're gonna get a decade.
You're gonna get a decade,
90s,
a random decade.
If it's 90s, we're good. If it's anything past that.
All right. One of us is good at TTT taking off pro wrestling. The decade is the 70s.
Can I trade my teammate for David?
Our 70s pro wrestling question. Bruno Sammartino held the WWE belt longer than anyone in the 60s, as well as anyone in the 70s. In the 70s, he held the belt for a cumulative 1,619 days. But what Puerto Rican wrestler held the belt in the 70s, the second longest, with 1,027 days? He also holds the record for most days as Intercontinental Champion.
You know many Puerto Rican wrestlers from the 70s?
In the 70s? No.
How about in the interest of time if you just give up?
David is eager.
I know my decades.
I don't think I mean,
only name that comes to mind would be like I want to say Morales, but that's a shot in the dark.
I'll take that over anything I have. So
all right. I mean, when I think Intercontinental, I think Honky Tonk Man, and that's it. But if it's got to be a Puerto Rican guy from the 70s,
famous Puerto Rican wrestler, the Honky Tonk Man.
Yes. Well, you know how they do. Like Yokozuna was from.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Like, was the Honky Tonk Man from Puerto Rico, and I didn't know this whole time?
That slick back.
I also don't think
hair.
Honky Tonk was in the 70s. I don't think he was
No,
doing much.
probably not. No. All right, we're gonna just go with the last name Morales.
Morales is correct. Pedro Morales is exactly that man, and he was also inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame in 1995. So great job taking the steal of the category that we all know Scott wanted. Well, not the saying this, you're stealing the category that Scott wanted. So all right. 10. Oh, and also like normal TTT style, every question is worth 10 points. So all right, Marshall Falk. Where are you guys gonna go?
Did we just take hockey away from Eid?
Probably. The problem is, of course, I don't like our chances as much as I like their
No,
chances.
I don't actually want to take that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Should we just take Olympics away from Josh?
That would be a better shot at that. Do you want to do that? It's fine with me.
No, I will. If you want to do it, you have to say it. I will never consent to that.
Well, then let's take one of the big ones. Just decide what you want. We'll take literature. Literature.
Yeah, right.
Coming at you. Always a good
Right.
call.
Well,
Whatever you want. Let's not make this hard.
no, I know. I'm just trying to the thing with baseball is we have a shot at a possible steal if they get baseball in its 50s, right? Because you might not know that.
Right. And I was probably there whenever it is happened. So
Right. So maybe we don't take that because we let them take it and hope that it's the 1950s question.
I just
But
don't
at the same time, we want to put points on the board. So
Right. So let's just take basketball. We'll split the difference. All right.
sounds good.
Okay. The decade is the 2000s. 20 years before UMBC made men's history by upsetting Virginia, what 16-seeded school beat number 1 Sanford in the 1998 tournament? Why the hell did I write a 2098 question? Damn it, Adam!
Right. Did you say 2098?
No, I wrote a 1990s basketball question for my 2000s. Damn it!
All right, we'll take your
I
2010s that
botched
you
it.
don't have.
It's all good.
right.
That's good. It's within you plus or minus 2 years, right?
See what
Plus or minus,
happens
you
when
know
he
what?
doesn't have John.
Yeah, this I'm all of. You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. 2 years before the year 2000, and then 20 years before UMBC made men's history, upsetting yada yada yada. What 16-seeded team beat number 1 Stanford in the 1998 NCAA women's basketball tournament? Did that make sense? Do I need to reread that?
No, I mean, I understand the question.
Okay.
Do you, David?
I do, and I know the answer too. It's because it was Ivy League. It was Harvard. Harvard beat Stanford. I'm pretty sure it was the late 90s. Hey, it has to happen sooner or later. It was Harvard.
For you to get an Ivy League question?
It was Harvard.
All right. Harvard is correct in that totally 2000s question. That was not at all 1990s, but I guess I was tying it into the UMBC one. How about that? Even though that was not even 2000s, but yes, good.
What happened in the 2000s?
Yeah.
Like the century.
Yes, there we go. All right. Botched it. All right. We are going back to one of us is good at TTT. Which category would you like?
What do you want, Josh?
Well, I'm assuming we don't have to worry about hockey anytime soon. That's probably going to stick around.
You could, we can take football, just, you know, get the ones out of the way that they'll want.
Yeah. I'd say we go with football.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Football. Your decade is the 50s. I retired in 1955, playing for the same team for 10 years. In those 10 years, I led my team to 4 straight AAFL championship games and then 6 straight NFL championship games. I won 5 MVPs and 7 total championships. Who am I?
Ooh, what's the name I'm thinking of? 10 years, AAFL, 6
You got an
NFL
old name?
championships. I was thinking, weren't the Browns really good at the very beginning? Like before
Browns, Lions.
Because Otto Graham. That's the name that's coming to mind for me. I don't know who the Lions QB when they were good back then.
Bernie Kosar, I have no idea. Otto Graham works. Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay, we're gonna check in with Otto Graham.
Otto Graham is correct. All right, well done. And we are heading back to Marshall Falk. What category?
Your pick, Scott. Whatever you want.
Miscellaneous could be interesting.
Sure.
Right? We don't know what we're going to get, and that might be our best chance here to take something that could end up being in our wheelhouse. This is what happens when you play against Ede in this game. It's you don't really have there's no margin for error here. So
all right, miscellaneous then. Let's just do it.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
The decade is the 60s. Drafted in 1962 by the NFL's Detroit Lions, Joe Zuger instead came to the Canadian Football League. In his very first game as the starting quarterback, he threw for a team record 572 passing yards and a league record 8 touchdown passes in a 67-21 win over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The record of 8 passing touchdowns in a game still stands today. With which Ontario-based team did he not throw away his shot?
Oh, okay. I got it at the end. Would not throw away his shot as a clue that it must be Hamilton. So it's the Hamilton. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. That we'll check in with that.
Hamilton Tiger Cats is correct.
Thanks for the hint at the end.
I would never have gotten a CFL question without a big old hint. But all right, moving back to one of us is good at TTT.
Up to you. Whatever you want. We can get baseball is probably one of their stronger ones, so might as well take that, right?
Yeah, let's see if we can maybe
something in the 90s.
90s and 90s or aughts.
Yeah.
Well, if you get aughts, it might be 90s. The way Adam
Yeah, exactly.
You have 2 shots at getting 90s.
Nice. I like those odds.
All right, baseball.
The decade is the 60s.
Son of a.
What Detroit Tiger pitcher was the first 30-game winner since Dizzy Dean in the 30s? When in the 1968 season, he ended with a record of 31-6. No word if home games were played at Nakatomi Plaza.
Oh, I got it. I just go last name. I have no idea who it is.
Oh yeah, then I think I can give you the first name. I think it's Denny.
Oh, is it
McLean, right?
Yeah.
Let's go McLean.
Denny McLean is correct. All right, my hints are too easy for y'all. I'm trying to think of like throwback style.
No, this is good. We don't typically give enough hints in our games, so maybe we need to learn a little bit.
No, that's good. All right, we are back to Marshall Falk.
And now we get to side note on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not.
It is.
It is. It's the best Christmas movie.
I was kidding. All right. No.
No. Here. Home Alone. Everyone agrees it is a Christmas movie. Everybody. I'm not even asking you guys. Everyone says that it's a Christmas movie. It's played at Christmas all the time. And what makes that a Christmas movie? Because it takes place during Christmas.
Correct.
Die Hard
takes place
during Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life, whatever. I watched it for the first time of my life last year. Not a Christmas movie.
Oh. When does it take place?
Barely at Christmas. Like the last 4 minutes of the movie are in Christmas.
Won't surprise you. Not a fan of that movie.
It's so boring. It's so boring. So boring. All right, we are back to Marshall Falk. Where do you want to go?
I don't really have a preference here, David.
We've got hockey,
I think collectively
tennis,
we're
Olympics.
Pretty strong in tennis, kind of. So I wouldn't mind doing that.
Tennis. We'll do tennis.
Tennis. All right. The decade is the 50s.
Oof.
Forget what I just said.
Known as Little Mo, what American was the first female tennis player to win all 4 Grand Slam championships within the same year, happening in 1953?
Mo. Oh, it's interesting because our team name is Maureen McCormick. Her name is Maureen
Diedrichsen.
No. Connolly. Maureen. Hey, let's check with her. Maureen Didrikson Connolly. No, Maureen Connolly. We'll check in.
Maureen Connolly is correct. Nicely done.
Nice pull.
Thank you. Oof.
Nothing missed so far. And we head back to one of us is good at TTT.
We got hockey, golf.
We have hockey, soccer, golf, and Olympics.
I say we don't touch golf, to be honest, but
I'm fine with that. I know nothing about soccer. You know stuff about soccer.
yeah. Unless it's like the 50s and then but yeah, let's go. Let's do Olympics.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. The decade is the 80s. Michael David Edwards is an English Olympian who in 1988 became the first competitor since 1928 to represent Great Britain in Olympic ski jumping. He soared to dead last placements in both the 70 and 90 meter events. In 2016, he was portrayed by Taron Egerton in a biographical film, and he was known by what nickname?
It's
Eddie the Eagle.
yeah, right.
Oh,
That's the
what
movie.
was the
That was
guy's
that
name?
movie. Michael David Edwards.
Sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah, the Eagle is Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. These are too easy, obviously. Eddie the Eagle is correct.
Don't you stop bashing yourself for being too easy.
So, frequent podcast guest Mike Corey actually sent me a video. He was in Lake Placid. Apparently, he goes there all the time. I don't know why. He sent me a video. Apparently, they were doing ski jumping, but like on grass. Like he showed me the thing, and they go down the ramp, and then they do the thing, and then landed on grass. I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, I'll have to post the video on our Facebook page. It's actually pretty cool to watch.
Seems like it'd be hard on your knees because it wouldn't give as much, and then
Yeah, unless they let the grass grow.
Have you seen those ski hills? There's not a lot of. It's not like soft snow that they're landing on when they're coming down. I gotta imagine grass is just as forgiving as basically ice.
Ice, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, hockey, soccer, golf. Scott, what do you want?
Speaking of ice,
I don't want any of them. Let me say something original. I want you to get amnesia.
How unique.
That's the second round when you get to give something.
I actually did prior to this recording because I did not realize I was on this.
I'd say it's between hockey and soccer, David, because they don't want golf. So that's probably coming back around to us anyway.
Fair enough. So it doesn't really matter. So let's take hockey.
Oh, okay.
Right. And the decade is the 50s.
Oh,
and we're running old.
I'm good. No, you know what? I've got David on my team, so I'm fine. He knew Maureen Connolly.
Did she play hockey?
You know what? They played a lot of sports back then.
Abe Diedrichson.
Yeah.
All right. On January 18th, 1958, what player would make history when he took the ice for the Boston Bruins and debuted as the first Black player to play in the NHL?
Oh,
yeah. See, I should know this because they taught us this in school.
No. And he was the guy. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame, and it took a really long time. His name is Willie O'Ree. Apostrophe, I think.
Yeah.
O'Ree. We'll check in.
Willie O'Ree is correct. Nicely done.
We got to keep getting these 50s.
Eric, I'm assuming you know that one.
Yeah, no, that was
All right, one of us is good at TTT. Where do you want to go?
I'm assuming you want to go soccer?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. And the decade is the 90s. At the age of 42, what Cameroonian forward broke his own record as the oldest goal scorer in the World Cup by scoring against Russia in 1994. He's remembered for his imaginative goal celebrations, and in 2007 was named the best African player of the previous 50 years.
I will be of no help here. So
Can't name any Cameroonian.
I'm drinking Benchmark because I'm on the Benchwarmers podcast.
Nice.
See how clever I am?
Yeah.
His name is Roger. His last name is something not Roger.
That would be weird if his name was Roger.
His name is Roger. Roger Mila. Let's go Mila. Yeah.
Roger Milla. Are you guys checking in? Sorry.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
You didn't seem to get much
Sorry.
pushback from Josh, so I was assumed
he came up with a name. That we're good.
Roger Milla is correct. Well done, man. He's an all-time great. I know him best because I do play FIFA every now and then. So
I pointed out to people I may actually play this next FIFA that's going to have the Richmond Bulldogs.
It's already out, Josh.
It's out? Oh, so I can get it and play it?
They come out like September of every year.
Yeah.
So
they just advertise that they were in it?
They didn't announce that they were in it until like right before it came out. It was weird.
It was right before it came out, not kind of hey, well, it's only October. It's not like it's been out forever.
Mm-hmm.
I might actually play that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, worth it.
Because then I'll have soccer players I've heard of that aren't real soccer players. Hey.
Yeah. I'm curious what their scores will be. Yeah, exactly. What their rankings. Anyway. All right. That leaves golf for Marshall Falk. And the decade is the 70s. On June 10th, 1977, Al Geiberger, or Geiberger, recorded the first sub-60 round in PGA Tour history. At a Memphis-based event named after what actor and comedian who was the founder of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital?
Danny Thomas, check it in.
Okay. Wow. No hesitation. Danny Thomas is correct, even after my botched reading. Well done.
Didn't matter. It wasn't a golf question. I was good.
Yeah. Danny Thomas. He actually helped kind of create the Andy Griffith Show. Like Andy Griffith was on his show, and then that character spun off into his own show. So,
and he's also Marlo Thomas's dad for our generation.
Okay.
You know, Marlo Thomas, Free to Be You and Me.
When you say our generation,
yeah. What are you
Sorry.
talking about?
Marlo Thomas was married to Phil Donahue forever and ever, and now never mind. Forget it. All right.
Nope.
Nope.
Over my head.
Free to Be You and Me. You remember that? Okay. Forget it.
I mean, I'd be the only one possibly to have been.
All right.
And you're too old.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm too old. Great. That's a good conclusion. How's that for a takeaway? You're just too old.
All right, gentlemen, that is the end of round one. And we have a tie score of 50-50, perfect scores all around. And we are now going to do, it's more of like, we have three, the round one, round two, and our final round, but it's close enough. So I'm going to do a halftime question. And for our halftime, we're going to do a Dean's List. So I think you guys have actually probably already done this. So we'll see how your memory is. Okay. Maybe not exactly as a Dean's List. And we're going to give 4 points. So we're going to have teams go back and forth and back and forth. And I will say, I was going to give it to whoever was leading, but we'll say because Josh and Eric went first, they'll go first in this one as well. You get 4 points for each correct answer until you mess up, and then you can't go anymore. The other team can continue to finish the list basically, but you'll go back and forth. So that's how it'll go. And no mulligans are allowed in this one. All right. So I want you to name the top 10 grossing films about baseball based on unadjusted worldwide gross. So you two teams can think about it and chat amongst yourselves. Unadjusted.
You want me to answer first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Since it's a movie about women.
Yes.
A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own is number 1 on the list with $132 million. All right. Marshall Falk, where do you want to go?
I guess we'll go with Moneyball.
Moneyball is number 2 on the list with $110 worldwide dollars.
Dan's favorite movie.
One of us is good at TTT. What movie do you want to go with next?
All right, we're going to go with 42.
42 is number 3 on the list with $97 million worldwide dollars.
This would be next for us.
It's going in our exact order that we've had it so far. So, yeah, that's next for us, I guess.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree personally, but I think it'll be on there. So we're gonna say Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams is number 4 at the highest on the list with $84 million worldwide dollars. All right. Back to one of us is good at TTT.
We got to go with that.
Sure.
All right. We're gonna go with the Benchwarmers.
The Benchwarmers is number 6 with $64 million worldwide dollars.
Wow. I thought we were saving that one.
All right.
We're not going to save. I mean, come on. It's got Eric's
right.
favorite actors in it. Of course he's going to say Benchwarmers.
John Lovitz is a god.
So we will go with The Rookie.
The Rookie is number 5 with $80 million worldwide dollars. All right. The top 6 have been taken.
I'm going to toss a floater pitch out there and go with Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year is number 7 on the worldwide list with $56 million. All right. Back to Marshall Falk.
It doesn't hold up.
I do not believe you.
It's a good movie still. Like I watch it, but it doesn't hold up.
I mean,
it's still a good watch.
Daniel Stern is hilarious.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, yes.
Hey, Rosenberger.
Rosenberger. That's awesome.
We're going to go with Bull Durham.
Bull Durham is number 8 on the list with $50.8 million worldwide.
We're going to go Major League.
Major League is not in the top 10. So that
Ooh.
means our Marshall Falk can finish the list if they can get both of them correct.
All right, David, we can talk this out.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not gonna lie, that was on our top 10.
Oh, yeah.
that was just.
So
I'm
if that's
surprised.
not there, I
can't be
I
far
kind of
off.
like Angels in the outfield
Yeah.
just because the time period, if Rookie of the Year it was 7th, and I feel like Angels in the outfield is probably close to it.
I agree. Let's do it.
All right, we're gonna say Angels in the outfield.
Angels in the outfield is number 10 with $50.2 million.
So then the only other thing that I could think of that would, the natural might be floating at the $50 million range. The other one that I threw out was fever pitch, just because.
I know it was really big when it came out, right? Like
Yeah.
it was heavily advertised, and Drew Barrymore was on a pretty good streak at that point. Little Big League.
Oh God, that's got to be way down the list.
All the other ones with kids are on here.
I know, but that one that one did not have the same kind of appeal. I think
it didn't, but it had the licenses.
Right.
Ken
That's
Griffey
true.
was in it.
Right.
That is true, as was Randy Johnson.
Right.
But I think Little Big League is way down the list.
Do you like Fever Pitch or the natural more?
I'd
probably go Fever Pitch for this list. Personally, I feel like the natural is one of those movies that people saw after the fact and not when it came out. But I also wasn't around. You tell me.
Well,
as a man in the 60s when the natural came out, David, what was it like?
First of all, it was the 80s, and I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theaters. But this is not inflation adjusted, so yeah. I don't know. I would go with either. I'd go with either one.
I'm going to leave it to you.
Okay, then we'll go with the natural.
The natural is not in the top 10.
Damn it!
No, our number 9 was Fever Pitch.
Oh, sorry.
50.6 million.
See, David, sometimes young prevails over old.
That's true.
True. Yeah, at number 11 is Major League with 49.7. And then 12 was Trouble with the Curve.
Oh, jeez.
13.
What?
13.
David, I almost typed to you Trouble with the Curve when I was talking about $1 Million Arm.
Is Trouble with
That's a baseball movie?
These new ones people go see because people just go to the movies more.
It's a new one?
It's newer.
What is this? I've never even heard of this thing.
It's got Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Trouble. Yeah. It was Justin Timberlake, I think.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. Yep.
I don't know if I didn't say it. The next one after that one was The Natural, was 13th. So, all right. So we now have a lead. Has actually happened. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
All right. After our halftime, we have Marshall Falk with 70, and one of us is good at TTT with 66. My math is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We are going to get going into round 2. And as one of us is good at TTT, got to pick first in round 1. That means Marshall Falk, you're going to pick 4. One of us is good at TTT to start off round 2.
Golf. We give them golf. That's my proposal. I don't know. You've played this before. What's the strategy? Do you give them?
I haven't played it well though. Well, ideally, if you're not playing Eid, you give them something that you feel like they won't get, so you can steal. Obviously, is the strategy, but they have Eid, so that's not as likely. If this was a game against anyone else, we'd give them wrestling, right? They'd get it wrong, and we'd steal it. But Morales says that if we do that, it could backfire. I guess we just go with ones that we don't want. If that's the strategy, then
golf.
Then golf is probably the way to go.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Decade is the 90s. Nicknamed the Big Easy, this multi-sport playing golf turned pro in 1989, and he won the U.S. Open in 94 and 97. Who is this South African golfer?
Ernie Els.
Ernie Els is correct. Sorry, nice and easy one. All right. Mr. Eid and Bumback, what do you want to give to David and Scott?
Tennis or soccer? Let's go with soccer. Soccer.
Okay. The decade is the 2000s.
Uh-oh.
The English Football League system has a hierarchical format with the promotion and relegation between leagues, the top league being the English Premiership, the next league being the League Championship, and then what is the third highest that debuted with this name in 2004?
I phone Matt Doherty.
It's not German. He doesn't know.
It's not Bundesliga.
Yes.
David, you know I don't know this, so I was really hoping the answer to this was Freddie Adu when he said 2000 soccer. That was the only thing I was.
I mean, you can answer, Freddie.
I mean,
What
we
happened to
might.
that guy?
The EPL renamed their third league Freddie Adu.
If Marcus was here, he'd say more like Freddie Adon't.
I think it might be called League One. Is that possible?
Isn't that one of the Star Wars?
Rogue One.
The Justice League One.
League One, Rogue One.
Close enough. It's words that end in GUE.
I think it's League One, or I'm getting it confused with something, which I apologize to all of our listeners for screwing this up. But I'll go with League One unless you've got anything.
Of course, I don't have anything, and it sounds kind of cool. So it sounds like it reminds me of Year One with Michael Cera. So we'll go with League One.
Is that a good movie? Like
I didn't say it was.
Okay,
I just
okay.
it's a movie.
It is a movie, and League One is the third highest English soccer league. Good pull. All right. What category is going to go to one of us is good at TTT?
What are you
I think
thinking, David?
Take a chance and give him miscellaneous and hope that it's something wacky and we just happen to know it and he rolls an old decade.
Yeah, let's give him miscellaneous.
Okay.
Okay. Decade will be the 70s.
Okay. Got a shot.
In 1971, what Venezuelan thoroughbred won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness? But due to a foot infection that had bothered the horse for several days, it only took fourth place in the Belmont Stakes. It shares a name with an SUV that has a country fried truck endorsement by a clown.
Oh, it's a Canyonero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
From Simpsons.
So Canyonero 2.
Canyonero 2 is correct. Canyonero. Canyonero. All right. What category is going back to Marshall Falk?
What do you got?
Well, left. We still
No.
have
No.
baseball, basketball, football, hockey, tennis, pro wrestling, and Olympics.
That wasn't what he was asking.
I know, but I wanted to fill the dead air.
Okay.
Olympics or tennis?
Well, we know only one of them knows anything about Olympics. And Scott claims to know tennis. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they were claiming that they both have some tennis knowledge.
Well, we don't want tennis coming back to us, so let's give them tennis.
All right.
Okay. And the decade will be the 70s.
Right in David's wheelhouse.
Keep this
Like,
up.
He was like 45 when this happened.
I know. Keep this up.
Who was the most dominant male player of the 70s? His 8 Grand Slam titles were 3 more than any other man. He won the last 4 Wimbledons of the decade and the last 2 French Opens.
The funny thing is I was thinking it was going to be Jimmy Connors, but I know that no American, there was a long span when no Americans won the French Open. So this has got to be Bjorn Borg.
That's who I initially thought too. I can't think of anyone else it would be, right?
Yep. No, I mean, right. I mean, the dominant guys were like Connors. McEnroe came a little bit later. Arthur Ashe, but he never won the French Open. Those are the Americans.
And that would have been earlier in the 70s, not late.
That's right. He won US Open in the mid 70s, I think. So yeah, Bjorn Borg. Check it in.
Bjorn Borg is correct. Nicely done, gents. All right. Still pitching a fantastic game today. What do you want to give to one of us is good at TTT?
I'm tempted to give them hockey because what difference does it make, right? I mean, it's like if
we don't have to answer it.
Right. We don't want it. So why don't we just give them hockey?
Yeah, good idea.
All right. Hockey. So there.
Take that.
I was going to give it to you guys next.
Figures.
The decade is going to be the 80s. Who is the only player in NHL history to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, the award given to the MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs 3 times, and the only one to do so in 3 different decades, his first being in 1986, playing for the Canadiens?
Patrick Roy.
Are you going to confer with your teammate? Okay.
If it's Patrick Waugh, he really doesn't need to confer with me.
86, 93, and 2001.
Yes, it is Patrick Waugh. Well done. Okay.
We could have got that one, David.
Yeah, I
Damn
think we could have
Well,
actually.
I think I might have actually been able to get
Right.
that one.
We would have had a shot at that for sure.
All right. What are you guys going to give back to Marshall Volk?
Give him Olympics.
Sure.
Yes.
That's fine. Olympics doesn't scare me.
And it's the 50s.
Oh, now it does.
It's Babe Dietrichson. Everybody knows that.
That's right.
The 1956 Summer Olympics were the first Olympics to be held south of the equator. In which city were they located?
I just asked this question on
Oh,
the
You
show,
did.
and
Darn.
that's why Josh is asking, and the answer is Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne.
Melbourne is correct.
I also knew that one because I know where some of them are, Josh.
I
Not many,
Had
but
to be a
some.
location one.
Yes.
location. All right. What do you guys want to give back to one of us who's good at TTT?
Basketball. I mean, at this point, it's baseball, basketball, football, pro wrestling. I'm clinging to this hope that we'll actually get the pro wrestling question. So I think we should give them basketball and hoping it's an old timey one.
Yeah, let's give them basketball.
Okay, basketball.
And it's the 70s.
Oh, got a shot.
All right. Name this 7-time All-Star who on October 18th, 1974, in a game against the Atlanta Hawks, posted 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 12 blocked shots, making him the first player in NBA history to record a quadruple double in a game.
74, 22 points. Is that? I mean, there's not many with.
No.
The 70s guy is 70s guy is Thurmond. Nate Thurmond.
Yes, Nate Thurmond. Nate Thurmond.
All right, we're gonna check that in.
Nate Thurmond is correct.
Thought we had a
Put
shot
some
at that one.
respect on his name. Nick the Great Thurmond,
Yeah.
okay?
Nate the Great. All right. The game was actually in Thurman's debut with the Chicago Bulls. And as you guys, of course, already know, Alvin Robertson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson are the only other players to achieve a quadruple double. So, but also partly because block shots were not recorded prior to 73 to 74. Just as a heads up. Okay, but y'all already knew that because you're smarter than I am. All right. What category is going to go over to Marshall Volk?
Baseball.
Sure.
All right, baseball.
All right. Have you seen my baseball? Because it's in the 80s. The Manager of the Year award began in 1983. For the first year, the AL award went to the Chicago White Sox and the NL award went to the LA Dodgers. Name both managers.
We're going to check in with Tommy Lasorda and Tony La Russa.
Tommy Lasorda and Tony La Russa is correct. Of course, Tommy Lasorda with the Dodgers and La Russa with the White Sox.
He had a great second stint with the White Sox, too.
Do I even need to ask what category is going to be going to
No.
one of us is good at TTT?
Depends on how they play it.
Well,
They
see,
might-
that's the thing. Again, strategy-wise, we give them wrestling, hope that they get it wrong, we steal it, and we get football. But I just want the wrestling question. I think
Yeah.
you do too. And I think you do too. So,
I do. And plus, they're not going to miss it. They haven't missed anything yet except for the
haven't
movie.
Sure. You're right.
Sure, that's fine. So let's give them football. Screw
Yeah.
it. Screw the game. We want wrestling.
All right, football it is, and they're going to get the 2000s.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Marshall Falk.
And
Oh, sorry.
this is a pre and post game question. In the 2000s decade, this linebacker for the Steelers and Dolphins went to 4 Pro Bowls, had 98 sacks, 672 tackles, and was the receiving touchdowns leader in 2001 to 06, while taking his receiving skills to 4 different teams in the 2000s.
All right, you good with that, Josh?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with Joey Porterell Owens.
Joey Terrell Owens is correct. Yeah, I can see the confusion, but yes.
We had the same discussion here. It's 5 teams, but I'm like, he didn't go to the 49ers in the 2000s.
All right, give us the wrestling.
All right, the wrestling question heading over to Marshall Falk. And it's the 80s. It's the 80s. All right.
Okay.
We're good.
I bet you are. On April 24th, 1989, Leon White defeated Shinya Hashimoto in a tournament to win the New Japan Pro Wrestling IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He was the first Gaijin non-Japanese wrestler to hold the title. He wrestled by what name?
Vader.
Big Van Vader.
I need you to be more specific.
Okay, fine.
Just to be a
Big
douche.
Van Vader. Big Van Vader.
Big Van Vader is correct. All right, gentlemen. We have us a perfect game, basically, going into our final round. So we have a score of 120 by Marshall Falk and 116 by one of us is good at TTT. So our final round question is going to be similar to both of our games. Okay. I do believe the fourth quarter, also known as put your fours on. You guys.
Put your fours on. Oh,
Put your doors up.
put them on, guys.
All right. Well, yeah, we are gonna do okay. Well, this is how it's gonna have to go because I actually wasn't expecting y'all to be so perfect, but it doesn't matter. This is how it's gonna go. Every single one of you is going to pick a category, and for each of those categories and the decades will be randomized. You have a maximum point of 30 points per question you can wager per category. So that's how it's going to go. Does that make sense?
David, are you thinking wrestling and baseball?
I actually was. That's exactly
I
what
figured.
I was going to type. I was actually.
Come on. It's not a secret.
Okay, we'll go with wrestling and baseball.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and put in the decades for those. Wrestling will be the 2000s.
Let's go.
All right, that's all you, man.
2000s wrestling. I'm just writing the stuff down because
It was a
this is a
baseball
lot.
or wrestling.
Yeah.
Wrestling is
wrestling.
2000s.
2000s wrestling. Baseball will be
I'm on 60s.
the 90s.
Okay.
And then Eid and Josh, you get to pick.
Hockey.
Well, David, in order for us to
I
win
know.
this game, we have to get a hockey question right. That's
Yeah,
what
I know.
That's
What it comes down to.
All right. The category or the decade for hockey will be the 90s. And then Mr. Bumback.
What do you think? Should we go? Should I go football or Olympics?
What do you? I'm good with whichever. What do you think they have a better? I mean, I think they.
I mean, at this point, it's
It is what it is. I say Olympics just to make
Yep.
it a little harder.
Olympics.
Okay. And that will be the 60s. Okay. We're going to start off with 2000s pro wrestling. What heel won the WWE SmackDown Championship at the 2004 Great American Bash? He held that belt for 280 days, longer than anyone else in the decade. Once part of a great tag team that split earlier in 2004, his solo persona was rebranded. Perfect for him to win the championship, which was a Texas bull rope match. Our 90s baseball question is a pre and post game. As a Toronto Blue Jay, he won his first Golden Glove in 1991, then would go on to win more than any other second baseman in history, and was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals in 1997, where he would set a home run record just 1 year later. Our 90s hockey question is also a pre and post game.
Oh.
As a Blackhawk and Coyote, he had 4 consecutive 40-goal seasons while also being a staple on the U.S. national team and was a skilled offensive defenseman for the Red Wings, winning 2 Stanley Cups while being a 3-time All-Star in the 90s. And we will end in 60s Olympics. At the 1964 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan, Abebe Bikila won a second consecutive gold medal in the marathon. It was the first time an athlete earned back-to-back Olympic gold medals in this event. For what country did Bilika compete?
We'll check in.
All right, we're going to start with our 2000s pro wrestling question. Who won the heel championship? I'm not going to read the whole thing. Marshall Falk, what was your answer for 2000s pro wrestling?
I'll take this one, David, if you don't mind. This is... I'll Big Van Vader this. It's JBL, aka John Bradshaw Layfield.
Okay. And one of us is good at TTT. What did you say?
We said
sorry.
Red.
What did you wager? I forgot to mention that.
We wagered the max of 30.
Okay. All right, now, and one of us is good at TTT.
Yeah, I put the clues together at the end. We wagered 30 points and went with Bradshaw as well.
Actually, that was only 26
Oh,
points.
26. Sorry, or 30. I mean,
No, I had you guys on that one as 30.
Oh, you know what? Because I had it written down different in my order.
Backwards.
That's fine. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter. We're
Okay.
good with wherever you want to put our
Okay, yeah.
amounts.
Woo! Okay.
I actually wagered 100 if you want to.
Because I wrote baseball, then wrestling down because I thought that's what David said initially was baseball and
Oh,
wrestling.
God, no, yeah.
and then you went
was the-
wrestling first. So
Oh, gotcha.
that's all right. We're good for 30. That's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. Our next. Oh yeah, I do answer those. Do I answer them at the time?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. That's right. And the heel that won is JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. All right. So we currently have 150 to 146. Okay. And our 90s baseball question, Scott and David.
We wagered 30, and our answer is Roberto Alamark McGuire.
For you guys?
We wagered, I guess, on this one 26, and we also answered Roberto Alamark McGuire.
Okay. And the correct answer is Roberto Alamark McGuire. All right. Our 90s hockey question. Gentlemen of Marshall Falk.
So yeah, we pieced this one together. We think I'm pretty sure the first half is Jeremy Roenick. Second half would be Nicholas Lidstrom. So Jeremy Roenick Lidstrom or Jeremy Roenicklas Lidstrom.
All right.
For 30 points.
For 30 points.
30
Thank you.
points. Okay. And one of us is good at TTT.
Yeah, we also checked in for 30 points with Jeremy Roenicklas Lidstrom.
And the correct answer is Jeremy Roenicklas Lidstrom. Yep, absolutely. He is the correct answer. Okay. Now we're going to go to our final one, which was seemed to be a guess, but feeling pretty good about the last one. All right. What is your answers for our 60s Olympics question?
So yeah, I'm 95% sure that it's Ethiopia for 30 points. Well, I'm 100% sure it's for 30 points.
And one of us is good at TTT.
No, we also wagered 30, and in the end, it won't really matter if it was right or wrong because we also have Ethiopia.
We wagered 34 points.
Well, gentlemen, we have a final answer here. The correct answer for where did Abebe Bikila run for? Who did he run for? It was Ethiopia. Ethiopia. So, going to do some math, and with a final score, basically perfect score of 240 points, our winners, Marshall Falk, are going to beat one of us is good at TTT who had 232 points. So well done, gentlemen. Well done. You kicked their butts. Not really.
And
8 points.
And new tag team champions of the world.
And Throwback
And
Trivia
new.
Takedown Tag Team Champions. Say
Yeah.
that 5 times fast.
You guys took down the champ at least. That is awesome. I appreciate seeing that. Yeah. Funny thing is, Major League would have been in the top 10 if it was US only, but worldwide hurts them because they did not go worldwide theatrically. And Fever Pitch did, which ended up bumping. The later ones tended to. So some of those later ones got the worldwide.
Which is ironic because Fever Pitch was a remake of a British movie.
That's
Yeah.
why. That's why they did better because
Yeah,
those
yeah.
stupid Harry Potter loving.
They don't even know how to count, calling their third league League One.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for letting me host on an episode where you guys utterly dominated, by the way. So that was a ton of fun. I really do appreciate that. So thank you guys.
I mean, in the end, I appreciate the easier questions because it's not about if we get them right or wrong. It's about the people listening. So this was a lot of fun, regardless of how easy or hard the questions were. So we appreciate you coming on. And anytime you want to do this, literally anytime you want to do this, let us know. We will have you back on.
Yeah, Adam, they were great questions. And I agree. It doesn't bother me when they're on the easier side, but I didn't know the Cameroon soccer player.
Okay, yay, one of them.
No, I didn't. I was glad they got that one because I could not place the guy's name. It happened in '94, I think, when the World Cup was in the U.S. and I could picture the guy. I could not come up with his name.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I'll take it.
Yeah.
One question that Benchwarmer couldn't get is about as good as I could. I'm okay with this.
No, I really didn't. I didn't know that one.
A nice no hitter, guys. Not a perfect game. You left points on the floor. 4 points you left.
Oh, on the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. If you just listen to me, if young prevailed over old, David.
Yeah.
Sorry.
A perfect game.
My bad, man. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the hit on that.
Sorry, David Ari's throwing a perfect game. I got to take along for it, but I don't take any credit for that one.
Adam, this was really great, though. I love your format, and I think it lends itself nicely to the sports, obviously, because the categories lay out nicely. I think it's great.
I mean, no throwback lounge. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I know it's a shame.
Adam, thanks again for doing this.
Hey,
I thought it was great.
And also, Adam, you did mention in the beginning that if Throwback Trivia Takedown and Benchwarmers made sweet love together, it was consensual. This was not.
Yes.
This was
Yes, you
100% okay.
You politely asked. We consented.
Yeah. And this was the beautiful baby. Thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, and until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.